Now that we've got you financially and legally capable of finding a great property, I just wanted to send you a quick recap of the purchasing process that you can look over or listen to at any point. I've got you set up with some automatic alerts for properties that match your specific criteria, but this is a team effort. Sometimes properties will fall through the cracks, or someone will see something that is just enough outside of the criteria that it doesn't get to you, but you like it more than you expected, so just keep an eye out with me. For sale by owner properties don't go into the MLS, so I'm not going to be sending you those, but if you're scrolling on Zillow or something like that, don't be afraid of them. We can still perform our due diligence with these types of properties, so definitely let me know if you see one you want to add to the list of properties you'd like to see in person or have me do a video for. When we're scheduling properties to see in person, it's really important to be picky. If we try to see absolutely everything that's on the market that just looks okay, you'll become kind of numb to them and not get any emotional feeling towards any of them, and could end up purchasing something that you're not actually in love with. Keep in mind, location is going to play a major role in your life when it comes to traffic, especially here, and the time spent in your car instead of in your home. So try to keep it top of mind. Once we've toured a property together in person or I've done a video for you and you've decided that you'd like to put in an offer on it, we'll get together to discuss which type of contract is better for the situation, whether it's an as-is or a standard FAR with repair limits. An as-is contract is typically one we'd want to use where there are going to be multiple offers in that situation, or any other type of situation where we're wanting that part of our offer to sound really good to the seller, even though it gives us the ability to walk away in your sole discretion that the property is not acceptable. A standard FAR is typically used when we're anticipating repairs that might need to be made to the property. Even though it sounds a little strange to try and estimate the amount of actual warrantable, non-cosmetic repairs a property might need prior to having an inspection, it's part of the offer so the seller can know what they're actually agreeing to when it comes to a net return on the sale of the property. Once we've come to a decision on which contract you'd like to use, we'll go over the purchase price and how much you'll be putting down for your earnest money deposit, or EMD. This is basically your skin in the game and the collateral that makes the contract in play. You'll only submit your EMD if your offer is accepted, and it will go to the title company, not to the seller. If we close on the property, then your EMD will come back to you, either towards some form of closing costs or in a check. If you decide to back out of the contract for a reason not permitted by the contract, like getting cold feet at the closing table, the seller will be entitled to your earnest money deposit. Once we have your earnest money deposit part and administrative information in there, we'll move on to the title information portion of the contract. In Florida, whoever is going to pay the buyer's title insurance policy is a negotiated item and can be paid by either the buyer or the seller according to negotiations. I've seen it go either way, about 50-50 each way. It really just depends on the market and what else is going on with the offer. But whoever pays for the title insurance gets to choose which title company and title agent will handle the transaction. If you plan to pay for your title insurance policy and don't have a preferred title company, I can recommend some in the area. Offers are typically written to give the seller 48 hours to respond. Closings typically take about 35 days if you're using financing, and significantly less time if you're paying with cash. We'll indicate our desired closing date in the actual offer. If the seller has a survey for the property, this is typically just for detached residents like houses, townhomes, they'll need to provide it per the contract if they have one. If they don't have one, or if theirs isn't usable because it's too old or something has changed with the property, like the installation of a fence or a pool, you'll need to purchase a new survey. This is a charge that you would pay out of pocket at the time it was ordered. My team will get quotes for you and let you decide which one to go with if we do have to order one. Right now, they're costing about $550. A home warranty is another negotiable item on the contract. These run around $600 for the entire year on a standard house without a pool, and are meant to provide additional coverage for major appliances like air conditioning units. So if you purchased a property and a home warranty and 30 days after closing the AC stopped blowing cold air, the intent is that you would call the home warranty company and they would send someone out to fix it, and you'd only be charged for the service fee no matter what the issue was. I've seen these be completely hit or miss, honestly. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes people really complain about them and say it was a waste of money. But the contract allows for you to ask for the seller to pay for one, or for you to pay for one, or for the home warranty to not be purchased at all. They're not a mandatory item. You can also purchase them separately after you close on the property if you're like, oh, I don't know. If there is an HOA at the property, we can indicate in the contract whether you will start paying the special assessments after closing, or if the seller will pay for all the special assessments possible, regardless of when they're due. Keep in mind, these are special assessments and not standard HOA fees. The next thing we'll determine is how long of an inspection period we need. This time will be pretty much market dependent. If the inspectors are super busy, then we'll want a little more time. If they're not and can get to us very quickly and we want to try and alleviate the seller's stress, we can go with a shorter timeline for the inspection period. When it comes to inspections, there are a few things to keep in mind. There are different types of inspections, and depending on the age of the property and what's present at the property, that could have a big impact on how many inspections we order and how much you pay. You will always want a full home inspection, even on a new build. You might need a 4-point inspection, a wind mitigation inspection, a wood destroying organisms inspection, a pool inspection if there's a pool, a septic inspection if there's a septic tank, and more. We'll go over which ones you need or might want and their rough costs. Keep in mind, each of these inspections will have a cost that they will be your responsibility to pay at the time they're ordered. You'll know the amount before we schedule them. The last big thing on the contract is going to be anything we want to add into it, like the seller paying for any of your closing costs, leaving furnishings or other items at the property, paying for my compensation, offering a credit back to you, etc. Keep in mind, if we look at newly built properties, regardless of the stage of build they're in, if they have their own contracts, much of this won't be able to be negotiated. Builders tend to have their own contracts and their own requirements, but I always go over their contracts in their entirety prior to you signing to make sure you're getting all of the incentives typically offered by builders. Once we've gone through all the items in the contract and added any necessary addendums, I'll be inputting all your signature blocks and sending out the contract to you to sign digitally. At this point, please read the entire contract with a notepad or something you can take notes on. This way, if you come across anything you don't understand or you don't like, you can write down which line number correlates to the issue and then call me to go over each of the line items with you prior to you signing. We won't submit your offer until you're absolutely comfortable. I hope this was a great reminder of the process, and I will see you at the next video.